A Sunday Stoic Summary. Some vocabulary today. Seneca often says we should despise death and despise riches, and I believe even despise life. And that just doesn't sound right the way I know how to use the word despise anyway, but what I've come to read when I see despise in his writings is not to like hate with all of your heart, like I despise thee. It's kind of like saying be indifferent to, or don't worry about it. To despise death is to not fear death. To despise life is to not cling to life so tightly that you'd never give it up. It's kind of to be indifferent in a way, is what it means. Which brings us to indifference, which is another term you see a lot in Stoicism, like with Epictetus. And to be indifferent, or things that are indifference, let's say, like a preferred indifferent or a dispreferred indifferent. These are everything outside of your direct control. So a preferred indifferent would be nice to eat today, right? You may not have direct control whether you get to eat today or not. You can do everything you can to eat today, but something might prevent it. And a dispreferred indifferent would be, sure do hope the world doesn't end today, but guess what? If it's going to end today, you can't control it. So these indifferents are things that you might prefer they go one way or another, but you don't want to get hung up on hanging your happiness on their happening or not. So that's what an indifferent is. Also, internals and externals tie into this. Things that are internal are your opinions of things, how you react to things. That's something you can truly control. Externals, those are the things you are supposed to be indifferent about. So everything outside of yourself, and that even includes your body, according to the Stoics. Like you can't control, whether you're going to get sick today or not. So externals are the things that you don't directly control. Well, so basically anything but your thoughts and your mind, really. And then the last word I thought we'd mention today is impressions. And we've talked about this one before, but this is another one that you hear mostly in Epictetus, where he basically says, like, our main function is to control our impressions and to work on our impressions. So just think of it, we use the same word in English, like your first impression of something. You hear a noise, that's your first impression, but that doesn't mean it's true. He says always, basically, when someone says something to you to make you mad, or something happens, or you hear a noise, put it out in the waiting room and say, I'll give you your turn in a minute, but I'm going to read your resume and determine what to make of you before I get worried about you. So you put a little space between yourself and the world around you so you don't overreact, and you don't let things make you worried or scared or anxious or mad that really shouldn't. Put them all into perspective. So those are a few words. The one that I had the hardest time, I guess, at first is with this word despise. I would say another way to think of despise in the Stoic sense is to be indifferent. To be indifferent to death, to be indifferent to life. I'd prefer to live, but if I have to die today, so be it. I'd prefer to live, but I'm not going to fear death. I'm just going to accept it.